Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel, and if you're new here, hi, we're Bikes by Amy, and today we're diving into part 2 of our foodie adventures in Vancouver. And if you haven't seen part 1 yet, no worries, you can catch up with this link on the screen. In part 1, we ate some really good dim sum, got some of our touristy stuff out of the way by going to Gastown, Granville Island, and North Vancouver, and of course, we couldn't resist sampling and tasting treats along the way. Now for part 2, we're jumping straight into the rest of our adventure where things get even more delicious and indulgent. So where did we leave off? We started day 4 with a cozy morning coffee run. Just down the street from our Airbnb was this adorable spot called Deville. The vibe was super cute and we grabbed 3 coffees, sat down and just took a moment to enjoy our drinks and soak in the morning calm. Once we were fueled up, we hopped in our car and headed straight to Richmond. The first stop, window shopping at Lansdowne Centre and Aberdeen Centre. Richmond is stacked full of stores with the most adorable stuffed animal, plush toys, as well as drinks and snacks. So many that I wanted to try them all. There were so many things to see and buy, from the miniature anime swords that were just too cool to pass by, to Gundams and keychains. There was everything. We also spent quite a while in this claw machine place. Anyway, it was like every shop had something unique to grab your attention, making it so hard to leave empty handed. After wrapping up our shopping adventures, we headed to Nobi Nobi, but luckily we managed to snag a seat just before the crowd really picked up. The first dish that came out was a salmon served with a miso soup, a slice of perfectly cooked squash, fried tofu, pickled onions, daikon, and a small side salad of shredded cabbage. We loved it. Next to arrive at the table was this eel bowl, which came with almost identical sides. Both meals were presented with these adorable little bowls that made everything feel extra special. And because we couldn't resist, we also ordered a curry dish. The curry taste was a little on the mild side, but still spot on. Rich, bold, and unmistakably Japanese. Our last dish that arrived was this beef bowl. I think it's beef, but it had a semi poached runny egg on top, which was a fun Japanese addition. At least it feels very Japanese because I used to watch a lot of Japanese reality shows, and I see a lot of egg yolks on directly on top of rice, and this kind of was similar to that. Moving on, after wrapping up our incredible meal at Nobi Nobi, we headed to our next stop, Graham Cafe and Pancakes. Unfortunately, it's not open anymore. Honestly, we just went here because we wanted to try souffle pancakes, and we also needed to kill some time. It did take a while, about 30 minutes for the pancakes to come out, but while we waited, we kept ourselves entertained with this matcha latte with a teddy bear shaped ice cube on top, which could have been really adorable because I couldn't make out if the bear was floating face up or down. Can you? Anyways, it was cute and definitely a fun moment. Finally, our pancakes arrived, and naturally, the first thing we did was the jiggly pancake test. Oh, and they are jiggly. They had the perfect wobble and just made us so excited to dig in. Once we cut into them, they were soft and tender, and most definitely cloud soft. The pancakes themselves weren't super sweet, but of course, we went all in and threw a lot of syrup on them because why not? The souffle was really airy, as you can see. To kill more time, because we were waiting for the night market, we headed to Costco. I couldn't resist checking out the food court, where I noticed they had poutine, a Canadian delicacy. Is it a delicacy? Anyways, sadly, we didn't try it. Do I regret it? Yeah, maybe a little. We strolled through the rice aisles, which were surprisingly impressive. Back home, our Costco only has 3 or 4 varieties, but here they have like at least 7. It was such a little cool difference to notice. We also checked out the prepared food section, and they had so many fresh and unique options compared to the US locations. Of course, there were familiar items like rotisserie chicken. After Costco, we headed to a bakery in a different mall. Must have been a popular spot because it got really busy when we got there. Then, after, we stopped by a liquor store just to grab some late night drinks, just in case we wanted to stay up, wind down, have a little drink. But our day is still young, and our last stop is Well, we finally headed to the Richmond night market. Honestly, it's known for its food, and that's the main reason why we're here. But to our surprise, they also had some cute little shops where you could pick up some fun little items like keychains, stuffed animals, and hair clips. The market had so many varieties of food, it was kind of overwhelming. There were noodles, mee goreng in many forms, spam musubi, bubble tea, tonghulu, tons of things on skewers. No idea how they made it. It's literally shaped like a donut. Filled with noodle, it tastes just like mee goreng noodles. To be honest, this was actually the first time I had mee goreng noodles, and I have to say that the sweet, spicy flavor was just perfection. I mean, I'm addicted now. Anyways, next we grabbed a passion fruit drink, which was refreshing and delicious, although in hindsight, it wasn't the best choice because the day was cold, not exactly the ideal weather for an icy drink. Moving on, we've got buns filled with three different types of meat. If I remember correctly, it was beef, duck, although I think they gave us ham and chicken, or was it pork? I think it's chicken. Either way, they were all not very memorable, but at least they were warm. And of course, you can't go to a night market without trying skewers. So we got a variety of them, ones with a spicy soup, and others coated with a flavorful barbecue dry rub. We tried the barbecue dry rub first. The smoky charred flavor paired really well with the spicy rub that was all over the skewers. After this dried skewers, we tried the skewers in the broth. These look spicy, but they weren't spicy at all. It just had a little spice of flavor, kind of like sriracha or maybe not even close. What made this dish stand out was the amazing variety of textures. It was a texture lover's dream. It had these soft, springy fish cakes, or is it tofu skin? I'm not sure. It had the chewy tripe, had creamy quail eggs, savory crawfish tails, and bouncy meatballs. There's a lot going on in each bite. I loved it. So, if you are someone who enjoys diverse textures in your food, this would probably be up your alley. Next, we tried something totally unique. At least it was unique for me. These were crispy chicken skins, deep fried to crunchy perfection, and tossed in a very Canadian seasoning. All dressed. I can't even begin to describe the flavor. It was kind of like a mashup of Dorito seasonings with like sour cream and onion. I don't know. It was really good though. We also picked up some classic rice cakes. I think this is their rose tteokbokki. Chewy, spicy, comforting, cheesy. It was good. Then we also grabbed some mochi and bean dessert. It was sweet, soft, just the right amount of indulgence and textures. It hit the spot after all the savory dishes that we tried. After finishing all the amazing food at the Richmond night market, we were so full, and with the rain coming down harder, we decided to call it a night and headed home. Once we got back, we freshened up, got cozy, and cracked open a bottle of wine that we bought earlier that day, our charcuterie board, I don't know how to pronounce, and the mango mochi from TNT Market, and we even had some kimbap from earlier that day. We started day 5 with, of course, breakfast at a cafe because as food lovers, we never skip the chance to enjoy a good breakfast. For today, though, we did have something special planned, a pre booked tea time experience at a hotel. The theme was Once Upon a Time, and it featured 10 courses, each tied to a whimsical story. With the harp music playing in the background, it was such a dreamy way to start the day. So, to start the tea party, we got to pick our own tea from a long list of different types of tea, which was fun. Then the courses started coming out. The first course was a bit of a surprise. Cotton candy seemed a little odd at first as a first course, but it was fluffy and had some powdered flavoring on top, so we kind of just went along with that. And along with the cotton candy, they also brought a little scone, which was also an unexpected standalone course. Honestly, it felt kind of like a cheap cop out, but I guess it did come with butter and jam, so still feels like a cop out, but whatever. Okay, then came the more classic tea times items. The rest of the courses were presented in this adorable Ferris wheel like device, which could only accommodate servings for 2 people. And since we were a party of 3, the third person's courses were served in this separate box. Honestly, I wish they had just used the same presentation for everyone because this separate box situation just felt so exclusive. I would have been fine with everyone just receiving a box. The food was alright. They were kind of dry, and we had a great time until we found a hair in one of the dishes. When we brought it up to the waiter, they said they couldn't do anything about it. No replacement, no refund for the dish. It was really disappointing. So instead of enjoying 10 courses, I actually ended up only enjoying 9.5. It wasn't the best way to start the day, but I just took a deep breath and moved on like a big girl. Anyways, after tea time, we decided to go on an adventure to a lighthouse. More specifically, Lighthouse Park in West Vancouver. Viewing the lighthouse required a bit of hiking from the parking lot, but it was so worth it. The trail was surrounded by these enormous trees and lush flora. The sounds of nature were so calming. I mean, I'll just let you take it in for a moment. Psst, hi, it's me again. Are you ready to come back? You are? Great. Okay, so we finally got our first glimpse of the lighthouse. It was a little underwhelming because it was far behind a building or a house or a maintenance place or something like that. It was really far away and honestly not as picturesque as we imagined. But then we noticed some other folks taking some side trails, so we decided to follow their lead. And luckily we did because we found a route that led us to the most serene, most beautiful, most peaceful, most awesome spot. I guess no one wanted to make that hike that day, so we had it all to ourselves for a little while. Well, almost. We did meet a little friend, an adorable sea lion, who kept their distance but made the moment even more special. It was such a perfect way to end the hike and just take in the beauty of the area. But all good things have to come to an end because we are not rich. So after the lighthouse, we decided to visit Cleveland Dam, and the scenery there was nothing short of magical as well. I mean, the fog over the lake and trees, magical. Literally looks like something out of a dreamy desktop wallpaper or something like that. We also hiked down to the lower part of the dam, but unfortunately the dam was not on. But just look at the height of it. It was beautiful. It had a very steep drop to the river below, which was very scary because I'm weak sauce against heights. But it was so worth it for the view. And the combination of the fog and the trees made it so serene and kind of otherworldly. Like, I want to say Tolkien-esque, but it's really more like 2005 Darcy walking through the fog in the morning. Yeah. And then next we made our way to Lynn Canyon Suspension Bridge, which was free. And then on our way to the suspension bridge, we drove past the Capilano Suspension Bridge, which charges like $75 per person or something like that. It seemed to be packed too, so at least the parking lot was. So after hearing the locals say that it's not really worth the price, we decided to stick with the free one instead, and we literally have no regrets. It's gorgeous. The view from the suspension bridge, I think you could actually see two waterfalls. It was beautiful. Also scary because, I'm scared of heights, but it was so beautiful and it was free. Even though there were a lot of people, understandably, we followed the crowd down the river and got this amazing view. The water was cold and crystal clear, like you could see the rocks. It was really, really nice. The trees surrounding the area was also beautiful. Some were covered in the green moss. It was beautiful. So dreamy. Anyways, after the hike, we made our way back to Vancouver and decided to grab dinner at this hot and popular spot called Tabam. It's like a Korean fusion restaurant. The queue was long and we had to wait quite a while to get seated, but it was so worth it. The star of the meal was their signature tteokbokki hot plate, which was quite a spectacle. It definitely had Korean vibes in terms of flavor, but the setup and the service were a bit different from your usual Korean restaurant. The hot plate meal came with a little bit of everything. On the side, there was corn and egg, And in the middle, there was like chicken katsu, pork, fried dumplings, and ramen noodles in a spicy, thick broth. It reminds me of a hearty tteokbokki soup, but with even more variety. Okay, so we're gonna have to end the video here because days 6, 7, and 8 there's a lot of things happening, and could not fit it into this video, so unfortunately it's gonna be a 3-parter for this Vancouver food series. But I can promise you that days 6, 7, and 8 are still gonna be filled with food and some adventures, so definitely stay tuned. We're gonna be going to the Sea to Sky gondola with some amazing views. We're also visiting Stanley Park and trying a bunch of different foods. So definitely come back because you don't want to miss out. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that bell icon so when part 3 comes out, you will be the first one to know. And thank you so much for watching. That's it. Bye-bye.